Morning everyone, welcome back to David That Goes Hobbies. Right, today we are continuing our talk about truck drivers. The good, the bad and the ugly. Right, from my experience as a truck driver for 41 years, I've had good times, I've had bad times. And you get to that point in your life and you think to yourself, I don't want to do it anymore. I've been there, done that, wore the t-shirt, and I started to look at going into IT. If you hear some strange noises, I've got dogs in the room with me. I've got two on my lap and two laying by the side of me. So it's not me. So if you can hear them licking, that's them sorting themselves out. Bless them. So dogs do what the dogs do. So yes, Monty. Monty wants to do it a fuss. Yes. I'll just show you. Here he is. That's Monty. So anyway, back to business. Now, as I say, I've been doing it 41 years, and I went for a patch where I just got to get out. I had to get out of it. So I looked at doing IT. I started doing different types of work and stuff like that. And do you know what? I thought to myself, how am I going to earn the same sort of money as doing this? So, cut a long story short, I went back driving, and then I went on agency because it is the variety of the job, and I've been doing it for years. So I thought, the opportunity with an agency is to find the right job for you. That is the bonus. And if you don't like the job, you can say, I'm not coming back. As simple as that. So, to sum it up, I thought, you know what? I'd like a full-time job, but I just can't afford the wages they pay. And this is one of the problems you have, and that is on an agency job, you will get better pay. It's inevitable. Well, it's not time to play, but the problem being is with agency staff, they give themselves a bad name. Namely, they don't care a toss. Well, I suppose I was one of the different ones. I did care. Hey, pack it up, behave yourself, go on over there. Yes. And I wanted to be in a clean vehicle because I used to work for a company on agency called NFT. Hey, behave yourself. And their vehicles were all right, but it's down to the drivers again. They weren't the cleanest, and it doesn't matter who's been in it before you. The vehicle could be spotless before them, and they leave it in a mess. And it could be their own drivers, it could be an agency driver, we just don't know. Anyway, long story cut short, and that is, I used to get really pissed off by getting a dirty truck. I've been bitten by bugs, you name it, I've experienced it, and it's not nice. And I got to a point where I thought, it's not the best job in the world. There's better jobs. Don't get me wrong, I've had some blinding truck driving jobs. Absolute blinding. I'll give you one experience in a bit, and I'll tell you about some of the good times I've had. And you wonder why I'm still doing it. Well, what else can I do? How else can I earn £800 a week, take home? You say to me, shut up and get on with it. No, I won't shut up and get on with it. If the industry is so bad, I'll tell you the truth. And it's this. Yes, it is. Drivers are their own worst enemies. Because what I don't understand is, why would they treat a truck? Would they do that to their own car? I don't know. Would they treat the house like that? I don't know. I sincerely hope not. So what gives them damn right to do that to the truck and leave it in such a bloody mess? And a lot of the time is because the company they work for, they leave the last driver, left it in a mess. So why should they do it? Have you finished making so much noise? And you think to yourself, why should I bother? And that's the mentality. The company doesn't care. The drivers don't care. And you just go around in circles. So anyway, moving on. I was working for a company and I got to know them pretty well. First name terms. And it was a good job. I was delivering food to RDCs up and down the country in fridges. A little bit of pallet work, but not much. But anyway, I was always cleaning my truck, and the depot manager came out and spoke to me. He said, "Do you fancy doing that for us?" Long story cut short, I had about 2-3 years doing that. I was earning thousands of pounds a week, literally thousands of pounds a week, and I got to a point I just smashed one record after another. I thought earning £1,000 a week was good, but when I was earning that a day, you think to yourself, this is a good job. But like everything, it doesn't last. And then they'd done the dirty on me. They pulled the plug on the contract. So I weren't charging an extortionate amount, but I was doing a fantastic job. I went through COVID, sanitised all the vehicles for them, and kept the vehicles running. So it's not a case I haven't been there and not had the experience. I can talk from experience. And I've driven most types of trucks. I've pulled most types of trailers, all sorts of trailers. I've done cement work, I've done steel, done concrete, you name it, I've done it. Apart from hazardous. And I don't really want to do that because it's not worth the money you get paid. And the other thing is, it's all very well to criticise me and come to assumption that I don't know nothing. Well, perhaps I do. And perhaps if you watch my videos, you will understand me a bit more. But the whole purpose about being a truck driver is dedication, being professional, and at the end of the day, it's about giving this country their goods. But when you get, have you two finished? It's alright, I've got a little girl, a little boy on my lap, and they're sort of playing. So they just want to play, so I might leave them to it. Yeah, love time. She's pouring him. He's liking his head rubbed. His head. This head, yeah, okay. And they're snuggling up to each other. So anyway, it's about continuity, respect, honesty, and professionalism. And trouble is nowadays you just don't get it. Perhaps when I was between 5 and 10 years into the jobs. I mean, I've done tanker work. Well, I've done milk tankers. I've done PFA, pulverised fuel ash from power stations. It's basically coal dust. And it's one of those jobs that I've done for years and I've had a lot of experience. But it doesn't mean things are getting better. Things are actually getting worse because obviously there's a national driver shortage. And why I base my opinions from my experience and what I see, I'm not making this up. Why should I? I'm telling you the truth. And the videos I've put out is about my experience, what I see, I'll tell you the truth. And when people don't like it, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. And if I say to you, it's not just me saying this, it's other people saying this. So it just can't be my opinion. And if you want to understand more about why I'm saying this, look at my other videos. It can't be any fairer than that. Just look at my other videos. And then you'll start to understand why it's like this, what needs to be done. I mean, the road haulage industry in this country is absolutely abysmal. And who wants to come into this job, work up to 15 hours a day, don't know if you're going to get killed or seriously injured? You've got to have an attitude where you've got to be mindful of the dangers of what's going on the road, the ability of other drivers, the lack of ability of other drivers, the dangerousness of situations, the weather conditions, transport, people that organise the runs and planning, and you think to yourself, they couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery, let alone a F up in a whorehouse. But it's the truth. Some companies have not got a clue what they're doing. And then you get the blue-eyed boys. Yeah? You know, the sun shines out their arses. But in reality, doesn't mean they should be treated any better than anyone else. They should all be treated the same. And this industry is in need of a reform, a complete utter shake-up, and a re-look at what's actually being done. The hours are unsociable, the work's unsociable, the weather conditions you have to work in is absolutely atrocious. You don't know if you're going to get home tonight. But, you know, people seem to forget. Drivers were human beings, we're not robots. People have feelings. It's not just about, drive here's your truck, go and sort it out and go to, wherever. But it's a point about taking care of the truck, make sure it is in a roadworthy condition, the trailers are in a roadworthy condition. A lot of transport companies, they're not on the maintenance side of things. And I can speak from experience. It's about everything throughout this industry is a utter bloody mess. From the transport to the goods you're carrying, to the other drivers on the road, to the road conditions, the road surfaces, the lack of police. It's not just one single thing. And when I say to you, this job is absolute crap. The working conditions, the services you have to use, in other words, toilets, showers, it is absolutely a crap job because you're let down from the very day you start working for a company. And why do I say that? Is because you are expendable. They do not care about. And if you do get a company that does care about you, it is very far and few between. 90% of what I've experienced in my life is the same process. Get your bum on that seat, get it down to where we need to go. And you know what? But on the other side of the coin, drivers have not helped themselves one little bit. Especially tanker drivers and tipper drivers. I've been both. But it's not just them, it's all the other drivers as well. Car drivers, van drivers, you've experienced it as well as I have. And the point I'm trying to make here is the roads are a dangerous place. It's not the roads, well, yes it is. The road surfaces are absolutely awful. You go over a bridge and the subsidence before the bridge and after the bridge, and everything that goes in the cab goes way up in the air, and you think to yourself, and your poor back has to put up with it. Yeah. Yes, lorries have improved, but it doesn't seem that the driving conditions have, and the mentality of people in the transport have come up to a standard of professionalism. Yes, some companies are better than others. I've worked for some blue chip companies. I've worked for some prestigious companies, and you think to yourself, they just string you along. A contract temp to perm, and I made a small mistake on the paperwork twice, and it was through them not telling me what I needed to do. It was their fault, but they terminated the contract. Moi wasn't to blame. I told the agency, how am I supposed to know what I need to do? It wasn't common sense because it wasn't explained to me, right? And it wasn't explained on the paperwork what I had to do. And if I didn't know, and it wasn't explained to me, they couldn't really hold me accountable unless it was explained to me and it was black and white. Us drivers have got that mindset. If you don't tell us what to do, right, we're not to know. And I'm afraid it's going to be this way. We're not allowed to think for ourselves, are we? We're not allowed to use common sense because we can't be trusted. And this is the whole demise about the drivers. Drivers are treated as stupid people, whereas I've known speaking drivers having engineers degrees, science degrees, aeronautical degrees and qualifications, rocket scientists, engineers of every shape and size, and you think to yourself, and even nurses come to this industry, and that is from both male and female. But to be honest with you, why I say what I say is because it's from my experience and what people have told me, and I relate it to you. And it's not a case of waffling on, it's a case of telling you the truth. So if you want to get an overall understanding about should you come in this industry, are you thinking of becoming a lorry driver? And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you come in to become a transport driver, you need your head examined. Because I'll tell you now, this country needs drivers, yeah, but it doesn't need screwdrivers. And there are too many screwdrivers out there. But it's the whole point about drivers and screwdrivers. And you need people that are going to do the job professionally, right? You need the transport company to be doing the maintenance on the vehicles, to keep the drivers in correctly organised manner. In other words, how they plan the routes and everything like that. But it's supposed to be teamwork, but it's not teamwork. The industry is so fragmented, and it is a bloody mess. And this is why I say to you, it is not worth coming into this industry. If you want to be stressed up to the back teeth, if you don't know if you're going to get home tonight, if you don't know if you're going to live to the end of the day, I can tell you, this is what I've been told. This is what other drivers have told me, right? And not only that, it comes from my perspective as well. So, at the end of the day, it's just not making it up. It's telling you the truth. And I'll let you make the decision. Is it something you really want to do? Make your own mind up. But my only advice to you is this. Is watch my videos. Get a second opinion after you've watched my videos. Speak to transport companies, speak to drivers. And I'll tell you a little story before I go. Years ago, I spoke to a driver where he was parked up, he was doing nights out. I don't like the word tramping, but I do use the word, unfortunately, in describing nights away. And that he said to me, I said to him, that's what I want to do when I grow up. And he said to me, son, don't do it. You'll regret it the rest of your life. And you know what? I should have listened, shouldn't I? But anyway, please leave a comment down below. Please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Sorry it's been a bit of a long video, but I had to get my points across. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.